What's up, besties? It's your girl Morgan here, and you're listening to Your Internet Best Friend. What is up, my beautiful internet humans? We are ending the year on a very strong note. I decided I was going to do a solo podcast today, but I said, you know what? Let's be a little unhinged. Let's just end the year on an unhinged note. And everyone wants me to do like the 2023 TikTok dating wrap, which like I don't want to do because we've already talked about all the dates on this podcast. But you know what I did decide to do? I decided to bring someone on this podcast who is actually the person I went on my very first date in Nashville with. So why the hell not? Let's shoot the shit. Welcome, Caleb Voth.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited about this.
I was not shocked because we're still friends.
We are still, yeah. So wait, let's clear the air with that. People are probably like, what the hell happened? Like, why was there no other dates? Whatever. We are friends.
Great friends.
I think you are so funny. Literally, I look at your Instagram stories probably more than I should. And I shouldn't be admitting that, but you really are hysterical. Yeah, we went on a few dates and now we're friends.
Yeah. The stuff I share on my Instagram is just my life. Like, I don't try to be funny. I just put this stuff out and people are like, did that really happen? I'm like, 100%. I couldn't make this up.
My favorite story on your Instagram is the one when you talked about your car breaking and the AC went out, but you had to just run over potholes in order to make it start again.
Yeah. Literally was driving my truck. I drive an old Tundra and I just like, I could get a new one, but I'm like, it works, you know? AC goes out and I'm like, dang it. I'm driving and literally smack a pothole. It turns on and I'm like, this is amazing. And then of course that's not a permanent fix. So it goes out again. And now I'm literally swerving to hit potholes again to try to get it to kick back on.
You're in the right place.
Cars behind me were like thinking they're dodging stuff in the road.
Why is this man driving like this? Is he wasted?
I'm like, no, I need to fix my AC and I need to hit another pothole.
Hey, well, you know what? Whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever works. Okay, for those listening who are probably just very confused what the hell is happening on this podcast, can you give like a 60-second who you are synopsis just to like fill people in? Who is Caleb?
So I am a singer, songwriter.
Of course you are.
In Nashville,
of course
Tennessee.
You are. In Nashville, what?
Plug, Voth, my band. From Oklahoma and had no intention of being in Nashville, to be honest. Like just living my life in Oklahoma. Me and my siblings get discovered by Warner Chapel, asked if we wanted to move here. I thought it was a joke because I was like, nobody gets discovered anymore like that. They emailed me, said, would you be willing to move or something like that? I did not respond for 6 months because I didn't even tell my siblings because I was like, there's no way. And then they messaged me on Instagram and were like, hey, we sent you an email.
Maybe check that.
Yeah. And I was like, this is real. And then, of course, my sister's in our band. So she was like, who's this girl sliding in? Like, you know, she's like, it's not real. And I'm like, no, her name's on the website. She has a title. Like, this is legit. And we came here in October of 2020 and we moved here in January. It was like 3 months. It was just like, this is real.
And so, now, do you think you'll ever leave Nashville?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I love where I'm from, Oklahoma, which we'll get into.
Ew. Okay. Oh, you suck.
Okay, Texas. I love Oklahoma, but I've told myself and my siblings like we're not leaving until we've like made it.
What's like the end all be all goal?
We want to do like a worldwide tour, like go all over the world. Win a couple Grammys. I mean,
that's casual.
Why not?
That's casual.
You know? Like, so we're just going to go full send until we actually hit the top.
I'm going to just live vicariously through you because I have no musical gift, no musical talent. Everyone is so confused why I'm in Nashville because I don't know if the hair, throws people off. But every time I'm like, oh my God, I moved to Nashville. They're like, are you a singer? You like trying to be famous? I'm like, no, if I sing, I like break glass, but like I just moved here for funsies.
Yeah, you've never sang for me,
and I simply will never.
Okay.
Well, speaking of that, I'm actually, I cannot wait to pick your brain because so on my podcast, I feel like I've had male guests, but I'd say 90% of them have been gay, which love my gay friends. So I'm very just curious to pick your brain. So I have to ask, you're a Nashville musician, you play the guitar. Have you ever, to impress a girl, I'm like referencing the Barbie movie because we all know like this was a big part of that movie. Have you ever sang or played the guitar to like win a girl over?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Twice.
Did it work?
Yes, it did. Now, I find it super cringy now. I did it when I was younger. I was like 16. It was my first
fair.
girlfriend ever. And I wasn't even that good at singing and playing at the time, but I'm like, this will win her over. And it did. Fast forward, the song I sang was a song called Until You by Dave Barnes.
Okay.
You may have heard it and stuff. But fast forward literally 14 years, do the math, I'm 30. I got to write with Dave Barnes here in Nashville. Wow. He's one of the top, and so we get in the room and I'm chatting with him and I'm like, I got to tell you, like, I sang your song when I was 16 to my girlfriend. He was like, I need to stop you. You're making me feel super old. And I was just like, but then he asked, he said, did it work? And I was like, yeah, it worked. Like, I got the girl. But I don't do it anymore. It feels really cringy now. I don't know why. It just does.
Yeah. I mean, I will say as a female, I don't know. I feel like some girls might like that. They might think it makes them feel special or whatever. Nothing makes me more uncomfortable than just sitting in a chair and having someone...
Can you imagine me just looking deep into your eyes right now and just playing?
I'm actually so upset I did not ask you to bring your guitar because had I have thought of that, I would have been like, I need you to bring it and we're going to do some karaoke.
If this goes well, maybe there'll be a part 2.
You know what? We never know. But yeah, no, for me personally, where did we go on our first date? We went to Old Glory?
Old Glory.
Oh, I have a good memory. I'm impressed by that. But if you, at the end of that, which by the way, great place if you're ever in Nashville.
Awesome.
If you would have strummed your guitar.
Would you have liked it?
No, I would not have.
Right,
I don't think any man should do it.
No, it's weird to me and I don't do it.
No, like even, I'm not kidding. Well, I don't know. We were talking about Morgan Wallen before we started this podcast, but I was going to say if Morgan Wallen even started strumming a guitar for me.
I don't care who it is. It just, if it's just you and I, like I'll play you a song like that I wrote like on like my phone, but to sit here and sing it to you live, it just feels weird. See,
I don't know. Even that, mainly because it depends on the context. So before I even moved to Nashville, I was out on Broadway and I feel like we've talked about this guy, maybe. He plays all over Broadway. I'm going to have to talk to you about this afterwards because I'm not going to drop his name because I feel like he, for some odd reason, maybe listens to this podcast.
Probably.
Literally, I went to a bar with my mom and even my mom and sister, they met him. They're like, you need to be careful because he will lock you in like his basement. Yeah. Like it's that kind of situation. Yeah. But when we first met, he like pulled open all of his covers and his songs and we're like playing them and then continuously DM'd me and be like, hey, like I really want your opinion on this song.
Don't do that. Like unless somebody asks to hear your music, no, don't send unsolicited stuff.
It's like an unsolicited dick pic. Just don't do it.
Totally. Just if it was not asked for, don't do it. You know?
Unless, I don't know. He also just wasn't good. Let me throw that one out there as well.
Matters.
Not talented.
Yeah. Was he hot?
No.
Nothing going really. No. Dang it.
But like, it's probably people who perform on Broadway, they make pretty good money, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the later in the night, people get more generous when they get more drunk and tipsy. Yeah. Okay, but if you're playing during the day on Broadway, that's a rough life. Like the day Broadway people, it's rough.
You've never played on Broadway?
No.
Wow. You were one of the chosen ones.
I know. And I don't say that pridefully. Like, I just don't have to. Like, and I'm not a huge fan of like playing covers. Like we do original music. And so when someone's like, play Wagon Wheel, I'm like, I don't want to hear Wagon Wheel or Let's Go Girls. What is that? Shania Twain?
Yes.
Like, I love those songs, but I'm not going to do it.
I will say I simply cannot ever picture you playing or singing Shania Twain's Let's Go Girls.
Right. That was a really bad example.
I'm like, that one just does not add up.
No, I can't do it. It's just like, like we throw covers into like some of our sets and stuff. But as far as just like, I don't like to play on demand. Like when someone's just like, play this. I'm like, I don't know that. Like,
see, and that's how I know that you're actually like, you're meant to be doing this. Like you are actually gifted, because if I randomly tomorrow could sing and God gave me this gift, I would be that person.
Yeah.
Be like, yes, let me hear my beautiful voice. I will sing for you whenever.
That checks out.
That's why we're different. Let's talk about like dating in Nashville.
Yeah.
Because you're obviously a male and I'm obviously a female.
Yeah. If it's not apparent.
I know. I mean, shocking. But
you never know these days, but yeah.
You never know. Very different vibes.
Yeah.
I am curious because one, I just came across a study, aka I came across a TikTok that claimed Nashville is the #1 worst place to date in all of America. Now, I agree as a girl. I think it's atrocious.
Yeah.
What do you think as a guy?
I agree.
Really?
Like, yeah. And it's this false, like, picture that there's all of these options. But in my opinion, the girls are looking for the Morgan Wallens. Because the crazy thing is they're not like wrong for thinking that they can date a celebrity, because everyone's like one person away from whatever. But like, I always say this about the Nashville girls. There's like 4 types.
Oh,
right?
Hit me with the types. And what do I want to know what type I qualify as.
You're, okay. So here's the type. They're the Morgan Wallen girls, right?
Okay.
They're the ones that are going to be out on Broadway, and they're going to be a little bit crazy, and usually not the ones that you're going to take home to mama. Like, okay. And this is based on the types of music that they listen to.
So these are based on the type of music.
These are the girls that listen to Morgan Wallen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. I actually agree with that. I agree with that type.
Second type, Zach Bryan girls, right? Do you know who Zach Bryan is? Okay.
I don't live under a rock.
Okay.
I know I'm in a pink blazer, but like, yes, I know.
Right, and we're in like a pink, dorm room.
Studio, yes, but anyway, yes, I know Zach Bryan well.
Zach Bryan girls, they're very deep. They're like feelers. They're intellectual, typically. But if you're not a deep feeler, usually they're like a little too much. So Zach Bryan girls in that category. Parker McCollum girls.
Interesting. Okay.
Leave them alone. They are looking for Parker McCollum, and you will never be as good looking as him. And so anytime a girl's like, I like Parker McCollum, I'm like, I'm not your type, because I don't look like him. Then there's the Cody Johnson girls, and those girls have good taste in music, and they're the type that have good morals, and they're the type that you can take home to mama. So if you find a Cody Johnson fan, wife him up.
That is actually a really good analogy. And at first I was like, I'm not going to agree with what he's saying. I actually do agree. I do agree. Now, me selfishly, and like not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm like, I am totally a Cody Johnson girl.
No, I was going to say, you seem like a Kojo girl from Texas.
Yes, we love a Texas country music. And also, I actually have a connection to him. So his manager is like one of our good friends. So I'm like, I'm basically related to him.
I mean, yeah, he is married, so he's taken for you. But you are the type, I would pin you as that.
Interesting. Now, like my sister, you've never met my sister.
I've never met
Zach.
her.
Oh my God, she is a Zach Bryan girl.
Really?
And at the top of my head, I know so many Morgan Wallen girls.
Yeah. Oh, you can throw a rock and hit him around here, like just everywhere.
There's so many. Yeah. But here, I agree with everything that you're saying. I do think, yes, it would be difficult to date as a guy because a lot of girls in Nashville are looking for Morgan Wallen, which, like, plot twist if you are. He's not that great. He's not that attractive. And yes, I like his music, but I don't think he's that talented.
Yeah.
Now,
I can't have an opinion on him because I'm in the industry, so there's that.
But I will say what you're probably thinking. I'm just like, allegedly.
Sure. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yeah. He's just not that great. Now, if he approached me and was like, do you want to go on a date? I'd be like, abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
Just for like the plot, but.
Yeah, absolutely.
But okay, for guys, yes, agree with you. They want the Morgan Wallen. But for girls, I actually think it's worse. And here's why.
Okay.
You have 10 girls for one guy in Nashville.
Yeah.
So you have options at least.
Yeah.
You have a lot of girls to go through. They might all suck.
Yeah.
There's one guy for 10. Admit the girls in Nashville are beautiful.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
I've yet to meet one where I'm like, you're kind of unfortunate looking. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So imagine me competing with 10 girls who look just like me for the one guy who's a catch. Yeah. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's freaking impossible. possible?
And I think what's also the thing is you think that all these girls are also dateable. Like you were saying, like that, like, oh, I have all these options. And then you get to know them and you're like, like there's always just something
always off
that I'm like, yeah, there's a reason why you're single.
But you know what I've realized about Nashville? And this, not trying to insult, I love the city so much and I love my friends and I don't think this is true, but I think for a lot of the single people, there's not a lot of single people with substance.
Yeah, that's true.
Like what's in the water in Nashville where people just somehow lack brain cells?
Truly. Like,
that is so rude of me to say, but like,
there's a lot of dumb people, out there that I'm just like,
it's rough.
Yeah.
Like I think, I have to tell you, so every guy I go on a date with or I talk to has an alias.
Okay.
So I was going to bring up one of my guys who didn't have a lot of substance. We called him Cat T-shirt Man.
Okay.
Because I showed up to a concert with him and he's wearing like a picture of his cat on a T-shirt with like psychedelic rainbows behind it. Was wearing like flip-flops. Anyways,
how did you get to that guy?
That's a great question. So mistake number one is I met him in Fort Lauderdale.
Florida's wild.
A wild
Florida
time.
is a whole different category of people.
Yeah, mistake number two, I was hammered when I met him.
Okay, so your judgment, like, not your fault.
So off.
Yeah.
Mistake number three is my sister was like hyping him up. I should never trust my sister's judgment.
Okay.
But he lived in Nashville, so I was like, okay, whatever. No, it was atrocious. Okay, let me know if this is acceptable as a man. I mean, I know what you're gonna say, but I'm curious to your opinion.
I want to hear this.
So we go on this date. He's in the cat T-shirt. I'm like, sick. This is, like when you just see what someone's wearing and you're like, I know we're not compatible.
Immediately no. Yeah.
Immediately no.
Yeah.
And then I was wearing like this cute little like Revolve outfit and it was like kind of chilly outside and he had like this neon blue jacket. And he's like, you should wear it. You're going to get cold. And I'm like, literally get away from me with your blue jacket.
Yeah.
Anyways, we go to the concert and I was like, I'm really not like drinking that much. And he was like encouraging me to just like get wasted.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, like, can you go to the bar, get me a water? He came back with 2 tall boys of beer. I hate beer. I'm like, do I look like a beer girl? And like, we also weren't at a country concert. It was like an indie band I had never heard of. It's a bunch of 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like rocking eyeliner and side bangs. So I'm stuck with him. Then I go, hey, like, let's snap a selfie. I wanted to send my sister a picture of this guy.
Dang. I love this.
He goes, I'll take a picture with you if you give me a kiss.
Oh.
So, like, what do I do in that situation? I was just like...
Did you kiss him?
I had to.
You kissed him?
I had to. I
Wow.
felt like I literally had to.
That's kind of... that's advanced. Or, what's a better word? Forward?
Would you ever...
No.
No, you would never. Then, okay, this is like actually awful. I like cut outs in my bodysuit. Like it was like a little top and like the sides are cut out. So we're dancing and I'm just miserable. I'm so angry. I want to leave. I'm stuck at this concert.
I know where this is going.
He forced us to the front. I was like,
Okay.
I don't know this band. I can stay back. He's like, no, we got to be front row. So he's screaming. He's like cheering. No one else is. I'm like so mortified. Then he goes behind me. And the second a guy goes behind you, I'm like, fuck. Literally shit. So he's like grinding on me. And then he's like putting his hands in the holes of my bodysuit. Like why? I don't know. But he's just like holding my stomach, like keeping his hands warm. Just putting them right there.
Don't be creepy. I literally would love to start a class for men.
You should.
Don't be creepy. Dude, I get it. Like, I was trying to think, because you were like, we're going to talk dating. And I was like, I really haven't had many horror dating stories because as a man,
blessed are you.
Like, we typically are the pursuer, right? Like, we're like the ones going after. So I can suss out a situation quick if I feel like this girl's crazy. If I'm just like, yeah, we're not even going to go out, like whatever. And with girls, like I get it. Like if guys are pursuing you, you're like, I'm going to give them a shot, like, and so like you give in and then you find out that they're warming their hands inside of your shirt and you're like, how'd we get here? Well, it's like, I get it. But like for us, like I can quickly realize like, this is not a fit. Like before we even go out, like, but I see with girls, like, you're like, well, nobody's asking me out besides this guy. Might as well. And then I hear stories about that.
It's
and I'm
tragic.
like, Don't be creepy.
Rule number 1, don't be creepy. You would think it's easy, but apparently it's very hard.
You'd think you wouldn't have to teach it, but you really do.
If you were to teach a class, Don't Be Creepy 101 with Caleb Voth, what would your top 3 rules be for the men out there?
Okay, well, let's start by... let me think of this really quick.
Sorry, just put you on the spot with that one.
Because there's obviously like... Okay, the first one, unsolicited photos.
That's for everyone, girls, guys, whatever. Unless someone is like, I want to see you naked, you should never.
Don't do it.
Ever.
Don't do it. Like that's creepy number 1. Like don't send photos. Yes. Physical touch, unless it's like reciprocated, like, and you can feel like you're vibing. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't touch people. Right? You feel like you don't have to teach this. Don't touch people that don't want to be touched.
True.
I didn't think you'd have to say it, but like I would love to tell a guy like, hey, don't touch him. Okay.
True.
I don't know what number 3 would be, but I think number 2 would get you out of a lot of situations already.
Number 2 is actually all you need.
Yeah, just don't touch people.
Just keep your hands to yourself.
Keep them to yourself. We learned that when we're like 5, right?
Some people missed out on that day in kindergarten.
You know, like, come on.
It is shred. Yeah. I actually agree with that. Don't touch. Yeah. Well, next guy who puts his hands in my bodysuit, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to say, I have a guy who teaches a class, and I'm going to send him your number.
DBC. Don't be creepy.
Yeah. And look, honestly, you could charge money for that and make probably a pretty good living.
Honestly, I have a lot of guy friends, and if they would ask me, like, hey, why am I single? I would give them a list, like just from looking from afar. And I'm like, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. But again, I'm not going to give out information if I'm not asked about it. But
fair.
Guys wonder why they're single, and I'm like, there's a lot.
Yeah, but then I look at people like us. I'm assuming you're not dating anyone.
I'm not.
Right. Okay. So I look at us, normal,
look at us.
Well-adjusted, can carry a conversation, don't just touch strangers without being asked first.
Right.
And I'm like, how the hell are we single? I think we just live in a very unfortunate place.
We do. We like it's a different time. It's a different type of people around here. I would like to say that we have high standards too.
You know what? I do agree with that.
Other than your choice with the cat shirt guy.
That was bad. That one was actually atrocious. But
I feel like we have high standards.
Oh, I agree. And so my mom, obviously, she has 2 single daughters, so we talk about dating a lot, and she's always like, you guys could have a boyfriend if you wanted one. She's like, you could be married if you wanted one.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but I'm not just going to go down on Broadway, put a sign on my forehead that says marry me, and then pick the first person who comes up.
No.
I'm like, no, I'm going to like actually wait on that one. So I agree.
Yeah. And I have a bunch of like buddies that have already been divorced. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I'm just not going to make a wrong decision. Like, I will wait.
Yeah.
And we're both like driving our careers, you know what I mean? So it's got to be the right person that comes in and like accelerates that or helps it or something. But I feel like I'm very focused right now, and so it can't be distracting. And I don't want that to sound a certain way, but it has to like align.
Yeah, it's a mesh. Would you ever date someone who lived in Australia? Just curious.
Do you have somebody in mind for me?
I mean, I could easily find someone. I'm just like very curious because you seem very level-headed. What your response to that answer would be?
No, probably not.
Okay. Why not?
I don't like distance. I've tried it. Like,
you know,
that's distance.
rough.
You can't get any souther than Australia.
You know, that is a common theme that people say on this podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Not to date in Australia?
Yeah, I mean, that is unfortunately what.
Have you dated somebody in Australia?
There might be like a long distance love-ish affair. So I like to get people's input of like, you know, and no one has yet.
I don't think you should.
I've yet to receive a positive answer, but it's fine. I like to think positively. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, no, I distance like I'm sometimes an out of sight, out of mind guy. So if we're not there.
See, and I'm opposite though.
Really?
Distance, and if I don't get to see you, it almost makes me think about you more. I'm
really?
like off. There's something, maybe I am a little bit off.
I don't need to be with a person like 24/7. I don't like that.
Hate it.
Hate it. But like, I do need to probably live in the same city as you.
Okay, you know what? That is fair. Same time zone would also...
Time zone would be important too.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to figure that out. Do you want to know what your alias is?
I was literally going to ask you that.
Wait, did I?
No.
Did you listen to my story?
No.
Oh, okay. No.
On Instagram?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I was talking about that before I came in to record this. So everyone I talk to has like an alias, whatever. I feel like you might be able to guess what yours was.
I mean, you cat guy was that guy.
Do you want me to give you a list of the other ones? And you
give me an ABC option.
Like what the... Oh, no, because it's going to give it away.
Okay.
I'll give you a list of like what some of them have been, and you can kind of fit. So there was Bicep Boy.
Okay.
There's Hot Aussie Ibiza Cruise Man.
Okay.
There's Cat T-shirt Man. There's Baby Infant Baby Neighbor, something like that. What else is there? Those are like the top.
How many dates have you been on since we went out? A lot?
Ooh, no, not that many. Let me think. In Nashville?
Yeah.
3.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of sad.
No, I maybe 2.
Oh, okay, we're in the same boat.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I need to focus on my life.
I agree with that. I think after we had 2 great dates, super fun, and then I had just like a slew of bad dates.
Yeah.
And I think after the last one, it was someone I was talking to for a couple months. It just ended so poorly. That's when I
really?
completely tapped out.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, Nashville's not for me. Not doing it. Refuse.
Yeah. Me, am I country boy?
No. I'll give you it starts with an O.
Oh.
Oh. Come on.
Open the door, boy? I opened her door. Oklahoma boy. Okie boy.
It's just Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Oh, see, that's a good one though. That's very
great.
descriptive.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime I said that, I was like, I know exactly who I'm talking
Oklahoma.
about.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So if you ever need to like have an alias, if you need to have a stage name, Oklahoma might be it.
I don't have any aliases for girls that I've.
What's it like to be normal?
Yeah, I don't.
What's it like to be a
nickname
functional human?
Oklahoma. I like that. A lot of people. I was at Longhorn Steakhouse last night.
Oh, yum.
And I'm genuinely surprised at how many people don't know where the state of Oklahoma is.
I feel like the only reason I know where it is because it's right above Texas.
Right.
If it wasn't, I don't think I would know.
This waitress, so she was like small talk, and she was like, so where are y'all from? And I was like, Oklahoma. And she's like, and I could see her brain like trying to, and she goes, that's north, right? And I was like, north of Mexico.
Not north of Nashville.
And so I was like, no, it's like right above Texas. And then she was like, that's by California, right? And I'm like, I literally just said, where are you from? She goes, Alabama. And I was like, checks out.
Adds up. Yeah,
checks
that
out.
adds up.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, again, not the brightest bulbs in this little area we got.
I'm just like the geography, we learned about it growing up.
But I will say, like, can you point out where like Idaho is on a map?
I could get close.
Like, I couldn't do that. I could point out the big ones: California, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville's
a city.
Alaska and Hawaii.
Yeah.
The important ones.
Okay.
Everything in between.
I get lost when I get northeast. I get a little lost. Like when someone's like, is that Delaware or Rhode Island? I'm like, who cares?
They're unimportant.
Like, it's 30 minutes between the two of them. Like, but like, yeah, Texas.
Or like Wyoming. Who the hell? Where?
It's up there.
It's
west.
feel like everything is just like, it's like California, like that area. We've got the South.
Yeah.
Nashville's like, I actually call myself an East Coast girl. Would you consider Nashville? It's the East Coast. No, it's not a coast.
There's no coast in Tennessee. I know,
but if you like squint at a map and like look at it, like it is more on the east.
I would say eastern. Yeah, it's an eastern state.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is people don't consider Oklahoma south, even though it's southerner than Tennessee. Like, in like how
So what is Oklahoma? Central America?
I would say southwest.
What?
I don't know. I made that up. I
I'm like, no, it's not. It's in the center of the country.
I thought Midwest, but somebody literally argued with me the other day because it's Midwest. But someone's like, no, it's south.
What is it?
Google says southwest. It's
Southwest. Southwest.
I just pulled that out and said that.
Oh, you should go on a game show.
Southwest.
What
great.
was it like? I want to compare. I also just am so competitive when it comes to Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Mainly because Texas football, Oklahoma football.
Yeah.
The Sooners suck, even though
Yeah.
you beat us.
I'm not a Sooners fan, so you don't offend me when you
I
say
know,
that.
but I don't know why I just got so heated and felt
Yeah.
like you should know how much I hate the Sooners.
No, I do know that though.
They're horrendous.
You did say
and
that like 5 times on our date.
I will bring it up another 5 times. And I would just like to point out for all the Sooners out there, I have to say this, that we are possibly going to the championship and they are
Yeah.
not. So
Yeah.
I
No.
just have to say that.
I'm a Colorado Buffaloes fan.
Okay. Fair.
Before Deion Sanders was coach.
I know nothing about them, but like, yeah, sure.
I didn't think
Go
we were going to
Buffs.
have it. Yeah, okay.
Go Buffs. What was it like growing up in Oklahoma?
Oklahoma. Okay. I feel like we grew up, you and I, in a different era, right? Regardless of whatever state like you're in, right? Like times
Okay.
were different. You know what I mean?
Oh, I thought you meant between us, like you're 1 year older than I am. Like,
no.
we're not that far apart.
No, I meant like when we grew up,
yes,
times
very,
were different.
very
you know?
different than times
Like
now.
we didn't have social media.
Thank
like,
God.
I mean, you had to go home and log in to your computer on Facebook to get
AIM,
or
AOL.
AIM. I had a MySpace. These kids don't even know what.
What
MySpace.
was your AIM name?
Clyde Bocephus.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Clyde is a nickname my dad gave me. Bocephus was a name of our cow that our neighbors had.
Wow, that is some Oklahoma shit.
I know we're not
if I
even
have
into it
ever
yet.
heard
We're
it.
not even into it yet. But Clyde Bocephus, 92.
Mine was Pink Panther, 1994.
That
Like adds up
totally
so much.
checks out. Totally checks out. So times are different, you know, like you had to make your own fun and just like my mom literally would be like, go outside and don't come back till dinner time. Like legit. And
Go have
we
fun.
were gods. We did whatever we wanted out in the country, you know, like I lived in this neighborhood that was like, everybody had like a couple acres and me and my cousins would just go and find crazy stuff to do. Like I remember, okay, so the guy that lived across from us, his name was Jim, and he was married to Nancy. Well, Jim used to live in our house, but he had an affair with Nancy across the street.
okay.
And so we got to buy Jim's house, which was now our house growing up.
Okay.
And Nancy was an alcoholic, and it was known that she was an alcoholic.
Okay.
And do you remember, did you ever sell that stuff in magazines growing up? Like that, like in school, like you
Like
had to
the
sell-
popcorn or the candy bars.
Yeah. And you got points to
Yes.
whatever. So we would go over to Jim and Nancy's because we knew later in the evening she'd be more drunk and more generous to buy products from us. So we would go over there and she would buy so much like just stuff.
Taking advantage of poor Nancy.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal is so she's dead now. Like rest in peace, Nancy.
Plot twist, Nancy is no
Yeah,
more.
I mean, she probably died of liver failure. I don't know. But Jim's still alive, which is wild. So we went back to where we grew up. Like this was just like months ago. And we're like, let's go back to the old house, you know? And Jim used to always work out in his yard. Like he had this shed in the back, which I forgot about this. I used to play with Jim in his shed. Okay?
Are you okay? Do you
Jim,
need therapy
nothing
right now?
happened that I remember. No. Jim was this 5-year-old man. And my parents, I'm like 8. They let me go play with Jim in the shed. I can't make this stuff up. Me and Jim.
What did you do with Jim? I'm literally crying. What did you do with Jim in the shed?
I need to get myself together. So, me and Jim, one story that stands out is he would get all of this scrap metal together, and all of it was lead. Okay, so now we know that lead is super toxic, like can kill you. and we would melt down lead like in this furnace and make these little like army figurines, and I'd be having lead all over my hands, like wiping my face and stuff, lead in my mouth. We're breathing in lead fumes. And Jim, at the time, I thought he had a speech impediment, but turns out he was just drunk all the time too. And I didn't know what the smell of alcohol was at the time when I was a kid. Now I know like what it was, but yeah, he was always slurring his speech and we're out there he's drunk, playing in fire, melting metals, and I'm there just having a blast, 8 years old, being like, this is amazing. And yeah, he the smell of alcohol like was always on him. So I guess Jim was also an alcoholic. Jim and Nancy.
Yeah, I would say both of them.
They were both.
Yep.
And but yeah, like Jim was an interesting character. He used to have flying squirrels as pets too. And I didn't know that
Oklahoma is a wild state.
Yeah, we're not even into it yet. But I used to, sorry for any PETA fans, I used to shoot Jim's squirrels. But I didn't know that they were his pets at the time. And since we were buddies, you know,
What?
I would
Okay.
army crawl over into his yard and with BB guns and drop these squirrels. Like, just like kill them, okay? So I remember this one time Jim walks over to our house and I knew exactly what he was going to do. I was shooting his animals, right? I was shooting his squirrels. So he comes over, knocks on the door, and my dad comes and he's like, hey, I really don't mind Caleb coming over to play. Again, full grown man. Like, I should not be going over there to play or do anything that I was. And literally by the grace of God, nothing happened to me. Like in
You're
Jim's
alive
shed.
and well and sitting in this chair. God bless.
I'm alive to prove it. But he was like, I really don't mind Caleb coming over and playing, but I'd really prefer he not shoot our squirrels. He's like, we set out feeders and we really like to watch them and stuff. And so I learned quickly, me and my brother stopped shooting them, but our other neighbor buddy heard that we were shooting Jim's squirrels, and his dad came over and was like, hey, you know what? Where I'm from, you eat what you kill.
No.
And I was like,
no.
Okay, yeah. And he goes, so those squirrels you shot, y'all are going to eat them. And I was just
You
like...
did not eat Jim's flying squirrels,
Yeah, we
please,
did.
no.
Yeah. So Kyle, his dad, his mom field dressed this squirrel, chopped it up into stew, and we ate squirrel Cajun stew.
Was
and
it good?
It tasted like chicken. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
good to know if I'm ever on an island and there's no
Not
protein,
bad.
there's only flying squirrels, I can
Not
eat
bad.
one and
Yeah.
it tastes like chicken.
Yeah, it was not bad. So yeah, we ate squirrels a little bit, sometimes here and there. We had this guy in our neighborhood. His name was Biker Fox. Well, his name was what was his name? Can't remember. Larry or Frank. His name was Frank De La Rosa, but he changed his name to Biker Fox because he got famous. He was really fat and he lost all this weight riding his bike around town.
Okay.
And then he started like doing tricks, and then he started getting like national recognition. Like he was on Ridiculousness.
Wait, really?
Google Biker Fox when you're done
Okay.
here, and you'll see he used to wear these extremely tight leotards that were very revealing, and he was kind of weird. So my dad, yeah, my dad told us like, don't go to Frank's house. Like, don't go inside his home. Frank used to collect raccoons and possums too, like as his pets. Like, and he lived in the corner of the neighborhood, like at the very end. And but he would ride around and he would growl and he would do these tricks on his bike and stuff. And one time it was always fun to go to his house, but not go in because we couldn't go inside. But we would go to Frank's house and we would like doorbell ditch him and stuff. And when you'd bang on his door, the possum and raccoon would go crazy. And, like, yeah.
Is this man still alive?
Frank or Biker Fox? Yes, he is. I was home over Thanksgiving break and I saw him biking, and he'd like stop at intersections and like do tricks. People would honk and stuff. Like, he's a local like
A
celebrity.
local legend. What can I
Did
just
you Google Biker Fox?
Yeah, I need to show you what he looks like for like the for the sake
Yeah.
of the podcast.
You're lying.
Biker Fox lived in my neighborhood. I grew up with this guy. Well, he's old. He was already grown, but yeah, he's got a movie about him. He lived in my neighborhood. We were friends.
Yeah, I can see
knew
why
me
your
by-
parents don't want you to go play with
I
him.
hope people can see that.
We'll make sure.
He would
I'm-
growl. He would growl at us, and we'd growl back. As kids, you thought it was cool.
I'm just so thankful that you only played in the shed with Jim.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that Biker Fox did not join.
Yeah. No, my dad wouldn't let us go play with Biker Fox.
I absolutely understand.
I'm still surprised that I got to play with Jim, but like Biker Fox was a whole different breed.
What is the name of your town?
I'm from Tulsa, which is like a normal city.
I was thinking some back roads, Oklahoma, small town.
No, we lived in the obscure part of Tulsa.
Okay.
Obviously, from these stories. But yeah, I mean, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Man.
Yeah. Like, and my neighbor had a pig that would get loose and like chase our dogs. Big pig. Like, think like 500-pound pig.
Okay.
Used to terrify us, and it would chase us. The pig would get out, and they're like mean, and they would chase us, and we'd shoot it with pellet guns and stuff. And
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Truly.
I think this actually gave you a lot of character development.
I think I'm a better person because
I think between the pig and the squirrels and Biker Fox.
And I didn't tell you about the bull. There was a up the road from us. There was a person, a couple. I don't know. We never met them, but they had cattle, but they had this huge bull, and it was a game to see like who could dodge the bull, like, and not get hit by the bull. Thankfully, none of us got ran over by the bull, but like we would go up and we would like see how close you could get and like kick it and stuff, and like cow tip in and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you are officially much more country than I am.
Yeah, and
Much more.
I don't let on how country I am sometimes to people because they're like, I hide redneck very well most of the time.
I think back to like the first time I met you, I would have never in a million years guessed you were this country.
Yeah.
And I would have never guessed that Oklahoma is more country than Texas. I was about to put up an argument. I was ready.
You have nothing now.
I was prepared to argue that
Yeah.
I am more Southern, but you actually have taken the cake.
Yeah, I know. And we used to like ride horses bareback.
school?
No, but we would see who could ride them bareback backwards. So I would sit on a horse bareback, turned around, and try to guide it to where we were going
Okay.
in the dark.
Of
Sober.
course, it couldn't be light.
Sober.
It couldn't be light. It had to be backwards on a
dark.
horse in the dark.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
have a video somewhere of it.
please send
Yeah.
it to me. I will post it on the podcast
Yeah.
page along with, I need a picture of Jim and the late Nancy.
I hope Jim's still alive. Oh, we ran into Jim when we went back and visited.
How is he?
Not good. He doesn't look good. So it all came back to me whenever we went. So we were driving through the neighborhood, and like I said, Jim was always in the yard doing stuff, like whatever. Immaculate yard, actually, like really nice place. But we're driving, and I'm like, guys, that's Jim. Looks the same, maybe a little bit puffier.
That alcohol will do that.
It looks like he's puffier. But my dad's like, let's pull in and see if he remembers us, because we haven't lived there for like 15, 20 years maybe. We pull in, we're like, Jim. He's like, hey guys. He was drunk and literally like stumbling like on the window, like talking to us. And he starts like looking at like my niece and nephew, and he's like, I'd love to play with them. And I'm like, and like, you know, it all came back to me of like playing with Jim in the shed. And I think he might be dead now,
Okay.
based on the status of his composure in our last conversation. He was rough.
I would like a full report back on Jim.
I'm going home tomorrow, and I might stop by Jim's,
Please.
and we'll see.
Please,
Yeah,
if you feel so inclined to even video Jim, I would love a visual.
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
He won't even know. I'll just have I will not even hide it. I'll have my phone like this and just be recording him.
He won't even know.
Yeah, let's hope he's alive.
For the sake of this podcast and for the plot, I really hope that Jim is alive.
Yeah.
But if not, R.I.P. to Jim.
Yeah.
He's reunited
Yeah.
with Nancy.
Yeah.
I think about the stuff I did. I was trying to make a list of all the country shit that I did growing up.
I wrote down a list in like 5 minutes, and we haven't even.
Wow. And we have not even hit the tip of the
I
iceberg.
mean, that has
But
to be
I
part
think
two.
in high school, the shit that I would do, like the first time I ever got blackout drunk, tragic, but like I woke up in a field.
Yeah.
Just like in a field.
Yeah.
There was an abandoned truck next to me. I still don't know whose truck it was.
Yeah.
And I just woke up.
Yeah.
I literally like no bruises, no aches. I was able to sleep on dirt.
Yeah.
And I just
Yep.
walked back to my friend's
Yep.
house
Yep.
like nothing happened.
When you're young, fall off a roof, you're fine. If I sleep wrong now, my neck is off for a
If
week.
I don't have ambient noise, a Xanax in me, a sleeping
Yeah.
mask, a Tempur-Pedic mattress, I am out of sorts.
Yeah.
Back in Granbury, nope.
I'm
Put her in a
physically
field.
not well. Yeah.
Put some Everclear in her and let her sleep in a field and she's fine. And I thrived.
Absolutely. I
trying
need to look at what else I wrote down here.
I know.
For you
I
guys.
was the only. So I was trying to think of my most unhinged story about growing up in Texas. I will say, you're speaking about Jim and Nancy. So I lived on a pecan plantation, which is
Okay.
like, it's not Southern. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Who lives on, anyways, whatever. I had a bunch of pecan trees, and to earn money, my dad'd be like, go pick up some pecans in your backyard and go sell them. We would literally sell these.
That's
anyways.
country. That's country.
That's pretty country, I guess. Super weird though, but I just remember my neighbors, like I wasn't really ever friends with any of them, but there was a little old lady, so cute. She'd be like watering her flowers, her little pecan trees. And then one day I came home from school and there was like a bunch of ambulances in her driveway. We're like, oh, like I wonder what happened to her. Like she wasn't waving to us that day.
Dang it.
Then it came out, her daughter escaped from the Granbury jail, came into her home, strangled her with a phone cord. I know, the plot twist we didn't see coming. Then the crazy daughter lived in the house next to us for like weeks,
You had
just
a
living with the
murderer.
dead body. And then finally just called one day and said, hey, I'm home. My mom's dead. I killed her. And then I guess she went back to jail and so yeah, that was
I've seen this on Dateline.
that was Granbury, Texas.
Wow.
But
Murderer living next to you.
murder.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like a lot of crime in Granbury, Texas, but like very quaint. Did you have a clubhouse? Like in your neighborhood?
We made one, yeah.
Okay, no. Okay, so that's
We
like
made one down by the creek.
okay, so that's like the country clubhouse.
Yeah.
But like I guess in Pecan Plantation where I grew up, there was like it was on a golf course, but it was like a clubhouse, and like
Okay.
you'd go hang out there. There was
Like built.
yeah,
like
it was built.
Okay.
And there was like a little community pool, it's like
Oh,
called
okay,
the
okay.
clubhouse.
Yeah, I'm following.
But this, I will never forget this, and I guess this is how like kind of country we were, is you could have weddings. And like
Okay.
it was a pretty little courthouse thing, clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have weddings and whatever, but you could also order pizza in the
cool.
same place.
Sweet.
So me and my dad, we like ordered a pizza for our family. And like I come in, I'm like 8 years old, like wet hair from the pool. My dad's like shirtless from running. Walk into the clubhouse, there's a full wedding going on. We
Amazing.
literally walk in as these people are like, there's the officiant, they're giving vows. And it's just like, we're like, hey,
Just gonna grab a
walked over,
slice of
grabbed
pizza
the
real
pizza, left.
I love that.
To this day, I will literally never forget it. My dad always jokes. He's like, well, I saved up for your wedding budget. You're getting married in the Pecan Plantation courthouse. I'm like, literally over my dead body will I ever step foot in that
Over
place.
the old lady's dead body.
Over our
honestly.
neighbor's dead body
Yeah.
will I get
Yeah.
married in
Wow.
Pecan Plantation.
Wow.
I'm
Trying to think of murder, like, there weren't any murders that I know
Love
of
that.
in my neighborhood, but I do have a story. My great aunt, let me get this right. My great aunt, her husband was like cowboy, like really cowboy.
like more cowboy than the stories that you've been telling me.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So he caught his wife cheating.
Okay.
With the neighbor.
Typical.
Which they lived on a ranch, so neighbor must have been like, it's a far drive to get to their house. He tells the guy, if I catch you again, I will kill you. Okay?
Okay.
This man's
Fair. He gave him a
related to
warning.
me. Yeah, gave him a warning. I don't know the time between the occasion, but wife is cheating again. He catches the guy. He shoots him.
Oh.
Yeah, there's murder in my family tree. He shoots him, but then had no intention of killing him. Like
Just a little bullet.
yeah,
Like a
let's
little like
just,
scratch.
let's just shoot him in the leg, right? Throws him in the back of his pickup truck to drive him to the hospital himself. He dies on the way to the hospital,
Ooh.
and he went to prison for life.
Ooh, okay. That was the plot twist I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know him.
Okay, I have a bone to pick with the judge on this one for life though. I don't know. He, yes, shot him. But isn't it like, I feel like he didn't shoot with the intention to kill
Right.
because he was driving homeboy to the hospital.
Look, I'm on your side on this one.
Should we write a letter to this judge?
Well, he's dead.
Oh.
He died. He's dead. My
Damn.
great uncle, he's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, he died in prison.
I should not be laughing. I should not be laughing at this. This is not funny.
Yeah.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
I never knew him, but I just heard that story. And I remember as a kid being like, that's wild. And then as you get older, you're like, that's wild.
That's actually
The things you
wild.
think are normal, then you're like, oh, you
Wait a
can't just shoot people that are cheating on each other.
No, you can't.
This was in Texas, actually, though.
Oh, that adds up.
Yeah.
That adds up.
See, I think the argument is if that guy would have broken in, right? But the wife invited him in, right?
Interesting. How did he? I'm so sad he has passed away again.
know.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
How did he catch them cheating? I have so many questions about this story that
I don't know because she must have been cheating a lot, and the timing's impeccable to walk in twice while they're having sex. But
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean,
I have some questions. I don't want to dig too deep,
yeah, you might want to leave that story alone.
Yeah, sometimes you're just like, all right, all right.
Wow. Well, I'm officially going to give Oklahoma the award as the most redneck. Here
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
I was thinking Texas was going to take the cake. No, you've actually put
Yeah.
me and my pecan plantation little upbringing to
Yeah,
shame.
I figured. And we're not even out of my neighborhood yet. All we talked about was Jim and Biker Fox and eating squirrels. There's a lot.
My God.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up this podcast, you apparently have so many stories. One, actually don't start a podcast because the podcast space is oversaturated and I want
Yeah.
people to continue listening to mine. So please don't do that. Maybe write a book, a blog.
I know. There's so like when you said that you wanted to have me on, I wrote down haircut from the guy with the nub. That's a whole different story. Drunk Jim in the shed. Troy peeping on my mom tanning. So Troy lived on the hill above us, and we were also told not to go to Troy's house. And
It's a sketchy neighborhood, man.
It wasn't, but you look back. But yeah, Troy was an interesting character. Eating squirrels, Biker Fox, eating dog food, jumping on moving train. Cody's cutting his foot in the pond. Murder, we talked about that. Laying an egg. There's a lot of stuff in there that has been not uncovered yet. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, anytime you want to come back on my podcast and just share your stories, you are
Yeah.
more than welcome to. I want to end with,
Okay.
it doesn't even have to be related to Oklahoma. I just want you to share your most unhinged story. The one that just comes to the top of your mind that you're like, this is it. This is wild.
When it comes to dating or
just
just
anything.
in
Life. Just life. Just unhinged in life.
Okay, let's pause. Let me think of this. I want it to be good. I feel like I've shared a lot. Most unhinged story. Okay. The one that comes to mind is, it's a long story, so I'm gonna make it as short as possible. My truck got stolen 2 or 3 years ago
Okay.
and wrecked, and they found the guy, and he was involved in one of the largest Grand Theft Auto rings in Tulsa, and the cops thanked me for my truck getting stolen, and then I had to pay for it. I had to pay to get it back. So they had taken it to the wrecker service, and it was a rough day, right? Because I'm like, truck gets stolen, totaled. Now I'm celebrated for finding this Grand Theft Auto ringleader, and then get to the wrecker place, and they're closing, and I was like, hey, hold on, I just need to get my truck. And she's like, I have a reservation at Texas Roadhouse. And I was like, first of all, I didn't know you had to make reservations at Texas Roadhouse. But I was like, I just need my truck. And she's like, okay, fine, it'll be $300. And I was like, I have to pay you to get my stolen truck back? And she was like, yeah, I'm sorry. And then I get in there, and the mechanic had to teach me how to hot wire it because it was broken. So I was hot wiring my truck for months after that. And people called the cops on me because I was hot wiring my truck to get it started. and they thought I was stealing it, and I had to prove it was my truck.
Is this the same truck that you're driving that you hit potholes with?
No, we got rid of that truck.
Okay, yeah.
It was bad.
Bad juju.
Yeah.
Did the Grand Theft Auto man, we've talked about jail a lot in this podcast, did he go to prison for a long time?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't follow up. I just was ready
To be done?
to be done.
I think I support you writing him a letter. I feel like maybe there's like not some closure there.
Yeah.
Maybe you should.
And the crazy thing about that
pen pal.
story is I was halfway to Texas,
Naturally.
got a Facebook Messenger call from the cop,
Okay.
which I didn't pick up at first because I was like, Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, who does
call.
that?
I had to be in the state of Oklahoma to report my truck stolen, or they were going to let the guy loose. And I was like, it's my truck. You have proof. Well, you got to be in Oklahoma to report a missing vehicle. I'm like, it's missing. You found him. It's stolen. You have him. And I had to drive 3 hours all the way back to Tulsa before they were going to release this guy for stealing my truck.
Wow. You did the Lord's work that day.
I did.
You really did the Lord's work,
did.
because if not, he would have kept stealing cars.
Yeah, you're welcome,
Wow.
Oklahoma.
You are the savior. Actually, that's what I want this episode to be called, The Savior of Oklahoma. Okay. Wow.
Merry Christmas.
Wow. I need to go touch up my makeup because I actually have shed tears on this podcast. Caleb.
Yeah.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're very welcome.
I actually have a headache now because I've been laughing so much.
Yeah, I need
so
Advil.
I actually feel like I've like botched my Botox because like it wasn't settled completely, and now I've been moving my forehead too
looks
much.
great.
So thank you. But if I have to, you might owe me some money. So it's fine. If anyone else wants to follow you, if they want to know where your outrageous stories are, like literally your Instagram story is one of my favorite things. Where can people follow you, or I guess listen to your music?
My band's name is Voth. If you care to follow my personal life, I think my Instagram is Caleb Voth or Caleb J Voth. I don't know, but you can find me.
You should probably know, like, as someone who is in the industry and a musician, you should maybe know your Instagram handle, just like a pro tip.
Yeah, I hate self-promotion, but you can find me. I'm out there.
Okay, he's out there. Guys, I hope you laughed as much as I did. I hope you had an amazing Christmas, and I'll see everyone in 2024. Bye, besties. Thanks so much for listening to the Your Internet Best Friend podcast. It's been real, it's been fun, and I will see everyone here next week. In the meantime, do all the podcast things, like, subscribe, give me a 5-star review if you please, and catch up with me on social media at Morgan Lee Willette. Bye, besties.